Thanks. But here we are. Hi, everyone. It's session two of the campaign playtest of Planet Raygun. We need to come up with a fun name for this, but I haven't so far. We are now joined by Rob Fletcher, filling out our crew. We'll find out how that happens within the action of the heist. We are currently in Bus to Nowhere. But first, we are going to do a little bit of a rewind here. Um, well, first, let's introduce Rob's character. Rob, we want to find out more about Kasira. However, we are meant to pronounce her. I would also like to know that. But yeah,
I think you nailed it there. Yeah. I'm just in the recap you gave beforehand. I noticed it's a very similar name to one of the NPCs, but we'll roll with it for now. Um, but yeah, Ciro for short. Um, so she is a royal. She is third in line to something. Um, her source of wealth is from a fiefdom, and visually she's kind of, I think, a shock of white hair and a dueling scar is her facial
hmm,
form. And demeanor is hot-headed.
excellent. Cool.
So, and in terms of heist kit, she has civilian clothes, comma fancy, which
All
I
right,
felt
she's
like
brought
was
some.
appropriate for blending in with these weirdos who are doing a fancy
Yeah,
funeral.
perfect.
Um,
Note for you, Rob, we didn't talk about this in the exposition of rules, and I said I was going to explain more rules, but assets can be used either way. So you can use them like an item from classic Carve from Brindlewood games to get advantage on a roll. Um, Mechanically, then you would check it off. Conversely, they can also be used as clues, so they work both
mm,
ways. So you can save them for these actual like segments where you're fulfilling these bigger objectives as a group, or use them individually, or handing them off, as the case played out last week. Um, Cool. So we have Sierra introduced here. The thing that we talked about in the our overture last week was talking about the ship that you all are piloting. We established that this is a pleasure vessel that has been repurposed for heisting. Essentially, what's happened to also set up some meta plot for you, Rob, is that if you imagine kind of the events between Rogue One and A New Hope in Star Wars, it's very similar to that. Of you have a bunch of independent governments, organizations, just rogue folks all together who have come together. They tried to essentially do the Death Star run, and it didn't work. It just failed. So you're trying to overtake the Galactic Overlord, or the Association was, in an event called the Lambeth Deal. And
mm.
the Lambeth deal failed. And so this entire fleet was wiped out in that process. And the association, though, still exists. There are people who still want to overthrow the Galactic Overlord. And so they are cobbling together a new fleet. And this happens to be one of those ships. So there's no ships within this new fleet that were built, at least at this point, for the purpose of heisting. Um, and this is one of them, the one that you all are piloting. So the prompt that I have for you in your little segment as we open this episode of Planet Raygun is the ship that you all are piloting, this pleasure vessel, has a history with someone you have connections with. Who and how do you know them?
Unless this conflicts with something that's already established, I think it would make sense if the ship is something from my family's personal fleet originally.
Hmm.
And I should know, Kasira does not have any kind of family name because in my reading of this, if you're extremely posh, you just have a mononym. You don't you don't have a family name or anything. Um, but yeah, I think the ship comes from probably she borrowed it or, it's supposed to be returning it at some point or but it's kind of up in the air.
Out of curiosity, and maybe like for the other players here, what would like there's not a name that's associated with your family because they are so posh. But what is the thing that would be like identifying about your family? Like what is it they're into? Like why would your family be known? Why would it be recognized?
I guess that I picture them being kind of hereditary nobility ruling
Okay.
over a certain sector of space or number of planets or something.
Nobles for
Um,
the sake of being nobles,
right, yeah,
essentially.
yeah, just like old money.
Got it.
Uh,
Um, For the rest of the crew, you've crossed paths with Sears' family before. What's your opinion of them?
Useful.
I
As
think
simple as that.
they own a very large selection of robots. They keep a lot of robots on staff. They're not paid exactly, but they're on staff.
Hmm.
And I
hmm
think I've met quite a few of the robots that have been just not set free, but have outlived their usefulness and been discarded. And so I don't like this family very much. Sarah's fine though,
Yeah, I'm kind of the
maybe.
black sheep of the family, I think. So yeah.
I haven't told Sierra this, but I've slept with her mother
Yikes.
several times.
Which of my mothers?
Exactly.
Hmm. So Rob, you will throw 3d6s,
hmm
and based on the results of those, or based on the responses, associate those dice with those answers. And if you
A
roll
lucky.
a one, you can re-roll that die.
Do I roll them all together or like one at a time?
Yeah, you might as well roll them all together. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, but
I have a 3, 4, and a 5.
nice. And so on your play sheet, you will just and you can let us know why you're assigning them, but
I think I'm
assign
going to
them to
go. I'll do
yeah.
the 5 with Leland because it feels like if that's his connection, I've probably run into him before we were
Oh,
colleagues, or
Uncle Leland, but not
right.
you don't know that it's a biological uncle. It's just like the
I don't
friend
know what it is
uncle.
exactly,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he was around in some capacity. Maybe he was my way into this team
Oh,
or something like
interesting.
that. That makes sense. So let's stick the 5 there. I feel like the loosest connection was maybe Hijack thinking, "Oh, my family is useful." Um, like I don't think Sarah likes her family very much, or it's complicated certainly. Um, but at the same time, thinking of them as useful is probably comes across a bit disrespectful, cold. So I'm going to put the 3 there, and that leaves the 4 with Jane,
All right.
if that makes sense.
Mhm. Makes sense to me. Um, let's open this episode off with where we left the previous one. Ursula Casari has approached our curator, Carlisle Hijack Lapointe, and and this is after Leland was being chased by who we call the Starways Starlifers, longtime employees of the Starways Starlines, and um, had used a time break to help evade capture from them, seeking recompense from what he did to Bernice and to all of them. Um, The niece of Maximilian Quasari, Ursula, is wearing these trim slacks. She has this very puffy and ruffled blouse, deep purple lips. Notice that I don't say lipstick there. And she has almost glided over to Hijack and has said, um, "I want that."
Well, so did I, but unfortunately, someone else wanted it more.
Is that someone that you know or someone who just knows what you carry on your person?
He'll look a little affronted and say, I assume a common pickpocket who lucked out. Carlyle Lapointe, he'll say and offer his hand.
Ursula Casari, niece of the departed.
My sympathy for your loss.
You hear the voice of Gizamel. Was that a Twilight 592 time break or a Dusk Dawn 398?
593A.
Oh, 593A. Wow. And you're not rushing over to chase that down immediately, even though it's been stolen from you?
Unfortunately, I suspect the culprit has used it and thus rendered it useless.
I could probably reset it for you. I've got a time break reset mechanism. I just haven't seen a time break like that in, oh God, it's got to be 3, 4, 5, 6 decades?
That is incredibly kind of you, and I'll tell you what, if you manage to get it back from him, it's all yours.
Oh, a race it is then. And he kind of scurries off. And Ursula, though, is looking at you and said, I thought that we would strike an arrangement for obtaining the time break.
I truly just wanted to be rid of them.
Fair enough. He does seem to be one of those.
Little clingy.
Just a little bit.
I'd be interested in discussing such an arrangement. Perhaps we could assist each other.
Perhaps we could. Um, what is it that you would want in exchange for a time break? A Model 598A or whatever it is.
5903A.
Excuse me. I never was one for the technical things, but I do know something of value when I see it
I would
disappear
assume
from
so.
time.
I would like to learn more about your departed uncle. Perhaps some stories.
Hmm. Fair enough. Um, so a thing that I am considering here is because it's a fun mechanic to kind of like introduce is there's another type of condition within the game of Planet Raygun, and those are task conditions. Task conditions are just jobs that a deal like this that you have arranged. I will give you information if you give me. I will do a thing for you and get information from you. You take it as a condition, and then once you resolve that condition by doing the thing, or you can roll a little plot if you wanted to, throw assets against it. You resolve the condition and you get a reward out of it. So I think like what happens here is that the two of you do negotiate this deal. So you can take this task condition. Let me read the specific rule just since it's the first time that's popped up. And this means that I have to track it down. And I love talking about rules, apparently. Bup, 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 bup. Conditions. Okay. When a player receives a task, determine a simple objective, getting the time break for Ursula Kasari. So, yeah, getting back the time break. The if you think of this as a question, it would be like, how do you get back the time break? A task represents a formal agreement between the character and another party. Even though the character might twist their way out of the deal, the keeper should provide whatever is being negotiated up front. So you'll get more information out of Ursula about Maximilian's background and the background of the Casaris. Tasks can be cleared like normal conditions through bridging the void or an experience purchase between rounds, all of that kind of thing. However, tasks can also be executed as if they were heist plans. At any time, some number of characters can execute a task, a version of execute a plan with some small adjustments. While this likely expends assets, it can gain some useful rewards. Those rewards are you gain one experience point, you receive a flaw or an exploit, you reduce watch by one tick, and if it is more than a 12 plus, if it's a campaign hit, you gain evidence of the Galactic Overlord. So a bunch of different things that you get that kind of make it worthwhile to throw assets against, but also, yeah, you can just kind of pursue it generally narratively as well. But yeah, take that condition. Cool, you've got it. And then let's cut over to Leland and Sierra. Sierra, I think you arrived here before everyone else. You were ahead of the plan. You were meant to just blend in with the funeral that's going on. There's this big, for what it's worth, viewing concourse. You're in this sort of like Art Deco, what's called the funerary station. And off to the side there is this ceiling floor to ceiling window that's overlooking this shuttle that's going to get launched into this dying star. That's where the funeral itself is going on. You see black curtains hanging from the ceiling in there, but you have been in what's called a wailing booth, a converted telephone booth for that is soundproof, so that you can really let it all out, your despair over the individual. I think these whaling booths for this particular funeral, and maybe for all of them, is connected to the scoreboard for who is mourning the best. And so during this time that you have been in the whaling booth, you're let's roll a die just for the fun of rolling a die. D6 and one is first place, six is sixth place, and we'll just determine where you are on the morning list here.
A 5.
A 5. So there, you're competitive. There's a lot of
Mid-table
people here.
respectability, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're out of the medals, but you are at least respectable. As you step out and check this, your eyes are on the scoreboard. How are you feeling about your place on the scoreboard here, about being fifth?
I feel like if I'd really wanted to, I know I could have come first, but
Okay.
it's
Holding back.
it's probably the smart move to not draw too much attention to myself. And I
And
really don't
as you
care that
think
much.
that, you feel a body smash into yours. It is Leland, not entirely accustomed to how a time break functions, coming out of the time break and colliding with your person as you step out of the whaling booth. Role play.
Dramatic entrance as always, Leland. What are you doing here?
Is Jack here?
Have
Or
we lost
just
Jack?
unaware that he's on mute?
I was unaware that I was on mute.
Okay.
I was doing the whole thing. Uh, ugh. Oh, pardon me, Mum. Oh, you.
Yes, me. Who are you
Uh,
expecting?
it is always good to see a friendly face, even if it's yours. Um, and he kind of looks behind him, making sure that the coast is clear. Uh, well, I think that's that then. What are you up to?
Shrieking in a booth.
Must be another
What
day
about you?
ending in the letter Y. Just and you see that he's like perspiring. He's like He's got his flight suit on and he's like got some sweat stains starting to form under his pits. Oh, just going for a jog, as one does at space funerals.
Are you in some kind of trouble?
Never, not anymore anyway. And he kind of like looks at the time break machine that's in his hand, and he's like sort of like clicking it to see if it still works. It doesn't seem to. Like,
You hear like a muted holler, like, excuse me, sirs. And if you look over your shoulder, you would see Gizamel de Bloom in his chin length hair, green tartan blazer, and these like microscope lenses as glasses. Still not like immediately on you, but trying to grab your attention muffled from the distance.
I'll turn
yeah,
toward him and with a look of expectation, as though as though to say, yeah, this better be important.
Leland doesn't say anything. He just sort of cocks his brow and almost like sneaks behind Sierra.
I notice you may have a time break.
What's it to you?
Oh, it's so much to me. Um, let's cut over to Jane. Jane, you are bashing up, making malfunction this light vaporizing unit, and you're doing this like there is a labor strike going on amongst the robots during the lunch break of the human workers here. So there's no one on the net on the deck. I think management because it was 11 I believe that you got on this role. So the auditor robot is probably dealing with the other machinas, like going off the job and trying to figure out what's going on. There's a deadline. We need to launch this shuttle. There's a funeral going on up above. There's a lot of those kind of negotiations. What are you doing after you have made this vaporizing ray start behaving erratically?
Well, we need to get into the shuttle. We need to take off in the shuttle, and we need to find a way to get off the shuttle afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to go in the shuttle and look around. If I won't get, nothing's going to get vaporized.
Um, Good. I think once you do that, you are essentially initiating the next phase, just from a mechanical standpoint. Like I think that it's from a narrative standpoint, I think that's going to raise a lot of flags,
Yeah.
in like a sort of like trophy dark way of like
Yeah.
you're gonna need to sneak onto this thing. I think what you realize maybe even as you approach it, you kind of have this like second guess of like, oh wait, like if they're vaporizing life, I haven't seen any robots go on this. There's these conveyor belts that are loading this.
Yeah.
So like um yeah, like that's going to grab notice and attention that you don't want grabbed without
Fair enough. Yeah.
executing the plan.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That said, you could get closer and we could say that you are collecting information about the shuttle up
Yeah. I
close
want
here.
to, I want to go and look at the shuttle. Like, even if I'm not going inside, I want to get a good idea of what we're dealing with here.
Yeah. And I love that you are like approaching the sort of like doors for this, because that's obviously a weak point of getting into the shuttle.
Yeah.
So yeah, give me a collection roll. What do you think this is with?
I think this is probably reason
Yeah,
because I think
that
I'm
feels fair.
reasoning. Unfortunately, I'm not a very reasonable robot. So we'll see how this goes.
And then we'll just kind of, as we're all becoming reaccustomed or accustomed to Planet Raygun's unique mechanics, I'll just read the rule here. So on a collection move, um, you are working to, when you work to discover an asset that will aid in the heist, roll 2d6. On a 10 plus, you discover a flaw or exploit decided by the keeper. On a 7 to 9, you'll discover a flaw or exploit, but things get complicated with a keeper reaction. On a 6 minus, you will just have the keeper reaction. But there is a 12 plus, and that can also that acts as what we call a campaign hit, which will reveal additional information towards the more campaigny goals here,
Well,
which we don't know yet.
in fun news, I did roll a 12.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I have a -1 to reason.
Oh, too
So that's an
bad.
11.
All right. Um, so
That'll be
yeah,
my one good roll for this whole thing.
describe how you're kind of like approaching this, how you're, what you're peeking at, all of that kind of thing.
I think because I do have a -1 to reason. I don't think I am very reasonable. I'm pro not really the best person to be doing this type of job. This is more of
Hmm.
a hijack thing. But since I'm the one down here, I'm trying to think like hijack. Unfortunately, I'm a robot, so it doesn't really work out so well. And I think I stick my hand of one of my fingers into where the phase the matter killer is, just to see what happens.
You
One
feel,
finger.
oh, that's kind of fun. I yeah, maybe this will just be like a fun thing that we can play with. You feel a little bit of a tingle, and it makes you wonder, am I alive? But that said,
Oh, existential dilemma.
um, you do. Um, let's go with a little piece of information that you notice. As you are poking at that, um, you kind of notice that there's a tractor beam that is powering up, and it seems to be. I think you would recognize some way that the shuttle is kind of like aimed very precisely as it's shot towards the sun. This is not the information, the important
Yeah.
information. What is the important information is you make a connection here as you are close to the doors that the shuttle doors only lock once it leaves tractor beam range of the Union.
Okay.
And maybe this is a common practice with shuttles, and so it sort of dawns on you when you hear or see this tractor beam starting to power up, like, oh, those doors will be unlocked for some distance outside of the Starways Union. And then let's go back up to Hijack. In the funeral, I think Ursula Kasari has been sort of hijacked from your conversation by some other power broker. I think in this case, it is. Um, oh, who would be fun to throw in here? Um, um, a woman named Vela Hart. Everyone in this at this funeral is just wearing deep black wardrobe, gossamer jewelry, and I think Ovella approaches Ursula and is just giving this most like treacherous gaze, and they like exchange this gaze of like, oh, you want something from me, but I'm going to stab you in the back. Like you can read this very clearly, and you assume that they are reading it. And the two of them kind of go off and are kind of like huddling and kind of get into one of these like verbal jousts next to you. What are you doing here?
I need to get that time break back before someone else does, so I can use that with Ursula. So, going to try and find Leland.
Yeah. I think that the funerary station itself is not that far away, and you probably can. Yeah, I imagine that you would see the green tartan blazer of Gizamel de Bloom, and Gizamel has is now talking to Sierra and Leland. Feel free to insert yourself at any point. But yeah, we'll cut back to that scene. of Gizamel negotiating with Leland. Um, so really, that's of no use to you anymore. Those are one-time use time breaks, but I can refresh it.
Yeah, well, how much does that cost? Yeah, just to
Cost to
refresh,
refresh
not
it?
to, yeah, just, you know,
To
just,
me? Like, what is my cost?
no to her. And he puts his thumb up towards Sierra.
What's her cost?
I'm like going, no. What would it take for you to refresh this so that I can use the game?
Oh, no, no, no. You misunderstand, my friend. That is just a piece of junk to you right now.
To me,
Yeah.
but it's not to you.
No, no, no.
Right. So if it's not a piece of junk to you, how do you make it not a piece of junk for me?
I think that you misunderstand, my friend. I, as the keeper, do understand. uh, I, uh, I would rather you not throw that into the trash because it is completely invaluable to you, but let me take it off of your hands so that I can recycle it. You know, give back to the environment. Make sure that this beautiful galaxy that we live in is not filled with space trash like what you are now carrying.
Oh, yeah, space trash. I know a lot about space trash.
You're not a litterer, are you?
Many things, but a litter is not one of them.
Yeah, exactly. So just hand over the junk.
My friend here has a tendency to think rather transactionally. I think he is wondering what he gets in return.
Oh, what is it that you would want? Would you want some more junk, perhaps? That may be more useful to you? I can't give you anything of value, of course. Junk is junk. But I
Well, yeah,
can
I
give
mean,
you
but this is
junk.
junk, right? And he's holding it, like, sort of like, at this point, sort of brandishing it, like waving it in his hand. I mean, this is junk, right? You know, I could just like throw it all against the ground, just kick it and smash it, right? It's just junk. It's just a one-time use thing.
No, be careful with that. It
I
is
could
junk,
throw
but
it
it
into
is
the vastness of
dangerous
space,
junk.
and it
Very,
just
very dangerous junk. Um, Here, come with me. And there's just like a door in the wall that just like he kind of like puts his hand on and it just kind of opens up this little like secret hidden door that's been flush with the wall the entire time. And he says, "Here, come here. I can show you exactly what I can give you in exchange for the time break."
usually I get the cash up front for these sort of encounters.
The cash is out back for this one, unfortunately, and it's not cash. It is just junk. Again, we are exchanging garbage with each other.
I think at this
It's
point, Carlyle will come up and put his hand on the back of Leland's neck and say, "Caught you now, you rascal."
He sort
In
of
the
like
door.
playfully puts his hands up, I guess, to surrender. Oh no, I've been caught.
Teach you to pickpocket me. You'll assist me with this, won't you, Gizmo?
will I? You said that if I obtain it, and I have arranged a garbage trade with this individual who you seem to have tensions with, um, that I could keep the time break.
Yes, I did. And then he'll nod toward that door. Shall we?
We shall. Um, and the four of you go down this hallway. Or at least Gizamel does. And what do the rest of you do?
I think
Carlyle wants to reset the the toy.
Okay. So you're
So
expecting where Gizamel is taking you is where the toy can be reset, like his workshop. So you'd be
I think
following. Is everyone else following as well?
I mean, I feel like I'm sort of at Carlisle's mercy right now with his hand on the back of my neck. So I'll
Yeah,
just
I
sort
guess
of
you
like,
have the time break, so you're a pretty key piece
yeah.
to this entire negotiation.
I think Sarah will just kind of mutter under her breath to Carlyle, "What are you up to?"
Damage control.
"Very well." And she'll go along.
Um, you are walking down this hall, you're walking downstairs. It seems like this is not where you are going is not immediately connected to the funerary station. And you may be getting a little nervous about the distance that you are going here and pulling yourself away from your heist and Jane specifically.
I just have a
Um,
question actually. So I've got in my kit, I've got comms devices that are encrypted. Could I
yeah,
send out a message to Jane without having to like mark it for?
Yeah, I think we could establish that
Okay.
narratively. So yeah, like we can as you're I will pose that question as you are going down the halls. What are the conversations you all are having? How are you like working through this? As this trip that you are taking is not a workshop that was behind the door, but you are going somewhere else in the Starways Union altogether.
As we're sort of walking, I imagine Gizamel is probably a few paces ahead of us, and I'm probably like second because Carlisle's pushing me in. But I'll just sort of like raise my wrist, my comm attached to it, basically just like a little bracelet, I think. And I'll just say, Journey,
What?
I'm being led down a dark alley. It's me and
Again?
the others. I know it's a bad habit. But this time I don't know if we'll make it out. Just if you got some way to track us, just keep your head, keep your gear spanning.
The best I got is the communications device. Where are you? Are you still on the station?
It was some secret hallway. I'm not entirely sure. It's leading us really deep in. It doesn't feel like it's part of the whole funeral thing.
Okay, but why?
It's a long story. Just when you got time, maybe try and come find us. Yeah.
Uh, all you hear is like smashing and banging and clanging,
The hell are you doing?
breaking things.
Very good. Very good. 10-4, and I'll sign off.
Leland, give me to kind of like give us a sense of how the immediate negotiation of this swap is working. Give me a collection roll with presence, kind of a meta roll, or yeah.
Ew. Well, I rolled a one, so the clock goes up.
Okay.
Um, and in total, that is a six.
Ooh. Okay. So I think that as this continues, as you're getting like a march down, you all are getting very nervous. You have a sense that like you are not going for the exchange that has been set forth to you.
Can I use
That
can I use my
is
bond dice to change that
you
result?
can. Yeah. As you are growing nervous, being led down these halls and thinking that maybe this deal is sour, what is it how are you helping the situation?
I think just perhaps my status as a kind of is one of the more esteemed guests here kind of guarantees that this guy can't be up to anything with any of my companions, anyone that I'm placing under my protection. Does that make
Do you
sense?
like, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think that makes a ton of sense, especially as a medal contender for most mournful. Um, is this something that you vocally express to Gizamel as you are being led down, or is it something, yeah, like how direct are you being about it? Or do you think it's just something that Gizamel would sense the further that he is leading you and maybe um, understanding who you are exactly?
I think I would say something indirect. Um, just to the effect that, you know, um, I hope this won't take too long. I have a task I need Leland here to perform for me.
And you can see like he's whatever he's thinking, whatever he was planning, maybe he's kind of like softening as he's like understanding who he is down here with or headed down here with. Um, and so you are replacing Leland's one with the five. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Leland, what does that bring the roll up to?
That would bring it up to 11.
Nice.
And do
So
I
it is a
change that bond dice to an empty now? Is that how it works?
yes. Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. And just as you all are on the verge of being worried that you are never getting out of this corner of the station again, you walk into an old, perhaps even dusty, cobwebbed hangar. And Gizamel points and says, I know this may have been it's a ways to get to a hangar like this, so I know you may have been nervous, worried that I was going to jettison you out of an airlock into space while taking the time break, something like that. But I am certainly not someone who would ever even consider such an action. Um, I really want you to know that, Miss Kasari. Kasira. Excuse me.
It's, I would never suspect such a thing, of course.
What I wanted to trade you is far more, has far more volume than a piece of used time break. And that's this. And he points, and you see this broken down, beat up, but I think Carlisle Hijack you would recognize entirely salvageable Star Commuter Journey Shuttle. Um, That's what he trades you for a spent time break.
I'll take it.
That that sounds like a useful potential way to escape from the shuttle we're going to sneak onto. I'm not saying that aloud, just
Leland does say that. I'll take it.
Uh, and Gizamel takes the time break without, and I think setting this up narratively, without Hijack being able to get a word in edgewise. Gizamel now has possession, and you just see him grinning. He is so excited to have this thing.
Just one moment though, Gaze. And once Giz looks up, he'll see a ray gun being pointed at his face.
what are you
uh,
doing, Leland?
Oh, getting us a shuttle and a little time break machine.
He hasn't reset it yet, Leland.
Oh, it's all a good fun, bruv. It's all a good fun.
oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And he like pushes another like panel on a wall that goes and he is dashing through and he is going to disappear into the inner bowels of the station unless you do something or want to do something here.
Leland's so good at running.
I think I would try and grab him, prevent him from leaving, and just, if this is the direction Leland's going in, let's roll with it. I'm hot-headed.
All right. We will do, I think this is our first escalation roll. Again, for Rob, and just as a reminder for everyone else, there's two, the day and the night move in Planet Raygun break down to diversion and escalation. Diversion is when you take a risk that would divert or reduce attention from your operation. And that tends to be the more like mid results, like the bell curve is fat in the middle. Escalation is the one that's a bit riskier. When you take a risk that directly confronts or escalates tensions, you roll a 2d6 plus whatever that stat is. In this case, it's going to be vitality. Um, you'll be asked, what could go wrong? And it will be worse than that. What what could go wrong here?
I mean, my plan is okay, Leland's pulled a gun on this guy. We need to take him off the board for the remainder of the job now because he knows something's up, right? So we just what could go wrong is he manages to raise the alarm.
Hmm. Um, I think uh it's worse than that in that in the grapple here, he is going to take you with him. Um, the others will not be able to get to you, and the alarm will be raised on all three of you, given the security
Hmm.
footage and that kind of thing. And you will be um, in the Starways, Star Union's securities clutches. So as far as results go, to set this up on a 10 plus, you come out on top in this moment. 7 to 9, you come out on top, but there are difficult consequences in a keeper reaction. 6 minus, it fails, and there's a catastrophic, if not fatal, consequence from a keeper reaction. Um, and a 12 plus
Delightful.
is a camp, or a 12 plus in this case is the threat is removed from action, and the keeper decides how. So, yeah, you could
Well,
eliminate this altogether.
I do have a plus one on vitality. That's a seven on the dice for an eight.
Okay. So at this point, you come out on top, but there are difficult consequences in keeper reaction, and I think that that is going to be that the alarm goes off here, and um, yeah, you're a ways away from the funerary station, and there is alarm going off. But well, how did it come out on top then? I think that's what we have to establish is that you're trying to prevent that. But you do get the time break for what it's worth. You got the time break back,
But it's still not recharged.
but it's still not recharged.
Did
But
we
it
also get
helps
the shuttle?
Carlisle. Carlisle's task then is
Yeah.
resolved.
Do we
Yeah, I
also get the
think
shuttle?
You still get the shuttle.
Yeah.
yeah, I think what my plan was with him was to, effectively do the equivalent of tying him up and stashing him somewhere so that he
Okay.
given that Leland has blown that there's something going on.
Yeah, so let's like play this out with role play. I think I have an idea of like how to
Mm.
make all the complications work and that kind of thing. So, we started the roll with Gizamel is about to duck into this other quote unquote secret passage, which are probably not secrets to anyone who works in the Starways Star Union, but yeah.
And I think I just grab him by the collar effectively and say, uh, 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 I don't think you need to be ducking out quite so quickly.
Uh, oh yes, I do. Oh yes, I do. You could if you kind of feel him tugging and like reaching into
Yeah,
like
I'm
this
picturing his
uh
feet like going on the
yeah,
ground,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
he's
yeah,
not
yeah.
going anywhere. Yeah.
Um his hands are like scrambling inside of this doorway, and you hear that click of the alarm being hit. And so the alarm is on. It has been triggered. But you managed to kind of like pull him back into this hangar that you're in. If
What was
you
that you just triggered? What will happen now?
some lights will go off. It's nothing to worry about. Please don't shoot me.
Leland,
Yes,
Fine, I won't shoot him.
thank you.
I was going to
Here, you
suggest you
can even
do if he
have this.
doesn't deactivate that alarm.
Take this, take this. And he's like handing the time break to Hijack. See, there's nothing wrong here. Everything's fine.
All right, well, if everything's fine, turn off the alarm.
We can't turn off alarms. The security personnel have to come down and do that. It's standard alarm procedure.
So
Bloody
you'll
There's
hell.
no
explain to
off
them that
button.
this was a misunderstanding, an accident, yes?
Of course,
You
of course.
you two secure him in this shuttle. I will speak to the security when they arrive.
Fair enough. And I'll just pistol whip him.
I want to check in with you all since the watch ticked up. You've got a number of assets, probably well enough to complete the heist. You're also able to look for assets, flaws, and exploits once you get to the next phase. Do you all feel comfortable moving forward? Do you want to continue poking around here? Yeah, it feels like a good place to kind of like cut forward if that's what you want to do and execute a plan, but it's up to you all.
Feel like I'm just getting the hang of what's going on, so I'll leave it up to the rest of you.
I feel like we can move forward. I feel like we've got enough stuff to get into the shuttle alive
Cool.
or unbroken in the case of people that are not alive.
You're alive in my heart.
Oh, thank you.
um, that sounds good with everybody. We'll kind of execute a plan here, which is where this is the signature moment of the game. So this first objective that you have is how can you get onto the shuttle alive? There are these loader bots with life vaporizing scanners. You've kind of handled at least that part. There's an obvious asset that works towards that. You've got these funeral mourners who are here to see the shuttle off. And then you've got this problem of there's no life support systems within the shuttle itself. And maybe that, like, as we look at those objectives, maybe we realize that there's something else we need to be looking for. But yeah.
Um, well, I feel like the obvious is, trying to use the life vaporizer is broken as an exploit because,
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
know, we're all, well, most of us are alive, and we don't want to get vaporized by the life vaporizing scanners. Um, I wonder though.
Oh, and we've
Um,
got the drop the shuttle in there for you all.
do we get to know the details of the second part of the obstacle, or is that something that like gets
Um,
unlocked?
yeah, so I think that there would be with this particular one, you would have enough like understanding of how this works. So yeah, like you are aware of it. It's not a hidden objective. If there was anything else that we added in narratively, I would add that in once you get to it. There's some heists where there might be twists where the objective changes a bit.
Okay.
For what it's worth, this is the tutorial heist, so there's not going to be any of that. And in general, yeah, like you always have visibility to what this is, so that you can kind of like plan how your assets are going to be spent over the things. So
Hmm.
yes, to go over that, and especially for anyone watching, the next objective is the getaway objective, and that is we title that Shuttle to the Sun. The question there is how will you escape the shuttle before it incinerates? So essentially, like it's a race against time once you're on this shuttle. Some of the things that you would know that you're going to be up against is the intense brightness and heat from the nearing star as you are from nearing the star, the limited time of it all, and that all of the controls in these shuttles have been replaced with transmitted automation. So it's from within the station that the shuttle is controlled. So you're not going to be able to just be like, I can grab the wheel and steer away kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I do have a slot, a Machina slot, where I can say that I have brought something with me that would make sense that I would have.
Yes, any of the
Um,
standard kit for what it's worth. So you don't get to make
any,
up something
I
like
don't get to make
whole
it up. Oh,
cloth.
I had a good
Yeah.
idea. Fine.
I mean, it occurs to me that if we have this other shuttle, we could somehow, if we can get that flying alongside the shuttle with the broken life support system, we can kind of
Yeah.
connect hoses or something to pump air into it, or something sufficient that we can at least.
Does the other shuttle have like EVA equipment, space suits
Mm,
that we could mitigate the lack of life support with?
Um, for what it's worth, the way that the game works and these plans work is that you can, like, if it makes sense within the space, and I think that that makes enough sense within this. Maybe
yeah,
not
and
so
if
much
the
the suits, but like I think like that shuttle would have a working life support system that you can
mm,
somehow
we
work
can
with, I think
salvage that
is
out of it, yeah.
yeah, completely logical, reasonable, all of that kind of thing. And as long as that's reasonable, it just becomes canon. So we can't kind of like if we say that this has a life support system, we can't say in the next objective that it didn't or it has. In this case it's fairly simple, right? But like if we said like the pin code for this is 4129 or whatever,
Yeah.
we can't say like, oh, this pin code is actually 8632 in the next heist. That's a terrible example of why this would matter as well. But essentially like whatever you lock in is what you lock in. Whatever you define is how the world is defined. Which may have some effect on limit your choices or expand your choices in the future as well. So yes, short answer is yeah, that's reasonable.
Okay. Here's my pitch. Let's say I have one of the items that I could have on my person is a location tracker where I could be actually tracking at least Leland's location using because Leland brought that up, using the comms device. Let's say I can track the location so I can know where the three of you are based on that conversation. If you get into the shuttle and fly it towards the sun, I can get into this shuttle, and as it blasts towards the sun, we can meet up somehow,
Hmm.
transfer the stuff from shuttle A to shuttle B, and get me out of there.
And I had this idea that if like heat and radiation from the sun is a risk as we get closer to it, that's what that impermeable metal coffin is useful for, right? We can get in that one at a time to transfer between the two ships or something if it's impermeable.
Yeah, if it's impermeable. I like the idea that it's inflatable too. Like you just have it on your person and you can inflate it.
I wonder though if we want to maybe save the coffin for the getaway.
Yeah. Yeah, the getaway for
Right.
sure.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
kind of proposing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it, got it. Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't realize that was like a separate phase that we have to. Yeah, got it.
So in this case, it'd be the life vaporizer is broken, vaporizer. Uh, we know that there's a deck officer that has numerous citations for incomplete loading and shuttle doors that only lock once it leaves the tractor beam range. We have a salvageable star commuter. If it's salvage, okay. What if I get into the shuttle, because I can, because it won't vaporize me. I lock the doors in the shuttle because the deck officer sucks. He's just going to give up and be like, okay, well, we got most of the stuff loaded in anyway. Let's just shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll quickly go through and find all the best stuff. and hope that I'm watching the location tracker and hope that you meet me before I crash into the sun.
Or you can also, another thing you could also do would be to like disable the vaporizer so that we can get on
Well, it is
in
broken, yeah.
transit. Oh, I see. It is broken
Oh, yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
So maybe we don't need it for this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is broken.
Yeah, we're relying on that in some sense. Yeah.
I'm a little
So that would be
confused how
using
the
four
deck
things.
officer comes in.
He's not gonna try and if the door is locked, he's not gonna try and unlock it because they're not supposed to be locked. He's not gonna
Why
try
would we want it locked though?
so that he doesn't come in and see me in there.
Oh,
Or he doesn't
okay.
see that I'm inside the shuttle because I can't imagine these are big.
What if you were in the metal? No, we couldn't use that twice then.
Mm.
Yeah.
What if you were in the coffin?
With the dead
With the dead
body,
body. Yeah. Or
I can get
instead
in the
of the
dead.
dead body.
I can, yeah. What if I take the dead body out of the coffin and stash it somewhere? And I get in
How
the
does
coffin, then we don't have to worry about the door being locked.
For what it's
Sorry, I'm
worth, you
messing.
would. I think this is still narratively negotiable. But for what it's worth, there's not a coffin. The coffin is
uh,
the shuttle, which you will discover.
mm.
Yeah,
Even
how
easier.
the body has been prepared. But yeah, you could certainly pull out the body and replace
Is your
yourself.
weird synthetic face like malleable?
But like, can it be made into other people's faces?
Oh, I like that idea, but I don't know if
Mm.
narratively we're allowed to do that, or that might be changing too much, giving ourselves too much of an
Uh,
advantage.
Jane, check the list of heist kit for something that might match this, since you can choose anything.
Oh yeah, there was like a wax face or something in there.
Yeah, there was. Wax mask kit. It's my face. My face is wax mask kit. I can change it. So I still have a metal body, but I have what's his name's face now.
And if you're
Totally
wearing
normal.
like the his clothes that he's getting buried in,
Yeah,
why
They
would
would
no
only
one's
see
anyone
the
gonna
body.
notice?
notice.
Yeah.
This is
That
a
could be
foolproof
the
plan.
fancy civilian clothes that Sierra has
Yeah.
brought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're
Yeah.
locked in, guys.
All right.
All
Just so
right.
I know, we've got location tracker. That's how I know that you're going to be on the way to come and get me. Are we
Or
using that?
or how we're going to be able to rendezvous with you, right? We're going to need that
Yeah.
because yeah. Yeah.
And that one might make more sense for the next
Yeah, next one.
objective.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wax mask kit, civilian clothes.
Okay, so
Nice
that's
vapor
two, which
tracer.
is making us even here.
You're going to use well, that's part of the next part too.
Hmm. Does the
Well, the
deck
life
officer come?
vaporizer is broken, so I can get on the ship without it causing any problems, even if it's a
Even
robot
if you
vaporizer.
are actually alive, now that you're a little bit worried that you might be
Now that I'm a
alive.
little worried, yeah.
It feels like the deck officer is not going to be useful later, so we might as well try and work him into the plan at this stage.
Well, yeah, maybe the loading is maybe the incomplete loading is using their
We're
sort
bring,
of like we can characterize the
always
deck
in.
officer as being like lax in their
Mm.
Yeah.
judgment. So like maybe they're prone to like sleeping on the job, like so like we use that opportunity to load into that dock because
Oh,
And for what
we
it's
know
worth, again, like you don't need to necessarily use this literally. You can riff off of it. So
Yeah.
you know that this is he has citations for incomplete loading. That could be a source of blackmail. That could mean
Mm,
that he's not
Hmm.
trustworthy. That could mean or he, she, they, whatever the case is. But again, like whatever you can establish anything that like makes sense within that piece of information that's been established. I mean, similar to like a clue in Brindlewood Bay, right?
Yeah, I think
Um,
so the thing I'm sort of going with is that they're prone to like just sort of going on smoke breaks and just sort of
okay.
they're halfway checked
mm.
out, you know. They're
Yeah.
maybe like older, like almost
But
like a
Waiting
couple
for
months.
retirement.
Exactly. They're a couple months away from retirement. They don't really care about the job.
Love it.
And so we just can use that entrance as or use that as an entrance since we know that they'll uh probably be taking a nap by the time we get there.
That puts you +2.
Who wants to roll it?
I feel like since you're the one
Um,
going in,
yeah,
All right.
I will let me read the rule here since this is the first time that we've executed the plan. When the players advance to the heist's next phase, they should discuss how to combine assets into a singular plan and then roll based on their use of those assets. Congratulations, we did all of that. So what happens with the roll? Once it's agreed on a 10 plus, the plan works flawlessly. You move to the next phase. On a 7 to 9, the plan works, but there will be a complication in the next phase. On a 6 minus, the plan quickly falls apart, and you're going to have a choice of things that you can do. You can either mark a crew bona fide and increase the result to a 7 to 9. You can advance to the next phase in turmoil, and you add 2 complexity to the next objective, or you can remain in the current phase. You lose 1 asset, and the keeper describes the shifting situation. On a 12 plus, it's a campaign hit as well. Um, yeah,
So no
so
matter what,
that's
it's
how it
fun.
works. Yeah.
All right. I got a 4 and a 4. So
So an 8.
8, 9, 10 with the 2
Oh,
plus 2.
oh,
because
well,
the
that's
plus
good.
2. So it's a 10. Yeah. Um, the plan works flawlessly. And we are
God, we're
going
good.
to do what Planet Raygun calls doing it with style. After the result is determined, each character involved should narrate their signature moment in executing this part of the plan. Something memorable about their role in the action. It can be good, it can be bad, but it's memorable.
I think this one's very easy. After sticking her finger in and pulling it out of the vaporizing field, Jane just closes her mechanical eyes and steps through, full bodily. And there's some sizzling on the synthetic skin on the wax face. There's a little bit of burnt rubber smell, but otherwise she's fine. And you see her grab the body of what's his name? Maximilian?
Maximilian Quasari, yeah.
Maximilian Quasari. Look at his face, and her face transforms automatically to match his
Ooh,
face. And
cool. We'll
she
we'll zoom
tosses
in on
the
this
body
moment.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll zoom in on this moment to set up because the next location will be inside of the shuttle. So
Yeah.
when we
Does his
dig into
body
that,
vaporize on the way out? Because he's life. Is
No,
it
he
like,
he would just been killed and
he's
he's
dead.
already dead, so
That's how he got on.
mm,
yeah.
I think Sarah's part in this is in diverting the people who show up to look into what this alarm is about. So I think the Carlisle and uh, Leland are hiding this guy that he cold copped, and yeah, so Sarah is on her own in this bay, and some security team comes down, and she just affects a very detached poise, and we'll say, oh, I think I must have stepped on something. I took a wrong turn. Nothing to worry about here, and just kind of bluff bluff her way through, and given her status and who she is, they can't really, they haven't got enough to kind of question her story. Um, so she'll just divert them away.
Cool. And Gizamel does not object with your depiction of events.
Well, he's kind of, yeah,
He's
I
knocked
think they
out.
don't even see
Oh,
him.
he's knocked
Yeah.
out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we can't.
Yeah.
Well, after Hijack and I hide Gizamel's body in the shuttle that we're going to take for later, um, knowing that there is the dock worker who's a bit more who's long in the tooth and doesn't care about their job as much, I'll go ahead and make my way towards him and just sort of pulling out a pack of cigarettes, and I'll just say, "Fancy a smoke?" And him being the old timer that he is, will take it gladly, and the two of them will just sort of start talking about stuff that guys talk about. You
Labor
know,
relations.
labor relations, space playboy issues, you know, meteor golf. It's all very tedious. But it's enough to keep this deck worker distracted from anyone else.
And Carlisle will take that spent time break and go find Ursula to keep her from hopefully being at the launch when the ship heads out.
Love it. Um, and so yeah, we will zoom in on this moment where you have successfully done this, and the shuttle is launched off. You hear the mourners mourn in a kind of celebratory sob as all of this wealth is jettisoned into this dying star, wealth that they wish that they have could have obtained for themselves, but which you will be obtaining for the association. And we go back to that moment on Maximilian Starbus Expedition 4001. Um, where Jane is going, walking down the aisle of this shuttle. Um, Anyone who knows the grand history of public transportation in the Starways would be immediately floored by the painstakingly detailed restoration on display here. The work that Gizmel de Bloom has done in restoring the station. The benches fluidly swivel into various xenonomic seating positions so that a body of any shape and size and alien form could fit here comfortably. There are archival advertisements that line spaces along the windows. Whole dimensions could be held in the entrancing sheen of its chrome handrails. This particular Starbus expedition also brims with upper crust gimcrack, arranged by Service Machina based on Maximilian Quasari's precise specifications. Um, Jane, you're walking down this aisle and you don't see the body at first. But then you look up and you are looking directly into the face of Maximilian Quasari. He has been suspended horizontally above the center aisle, gazing at the scene below. And above his body, when you pull it down, and were you tossing it out? Yeah, tossing it out the back door. You see the loot. These cases of Physic just attached magnetically to the top of the ceiling. Help me paint the scene, everyone. What rare cargo is here that you wouldn't expect, even though it won't be transportable in any escape pod? Essentially, what would you take if you could?
There is a hollowed out prototype of a robot that is so large that it takes up more than half the shuttle and it's sort of looming over everything with its big, large arms. And you can see that its metal head has these sharp teeth. This was used as a form of war machine way, way back in the day, and it's basically like a kaiju size robot, like evil Iron Giant.
I think even the interior surfaces of the shuttle are the they're kind of chased through with this like spiraling liquid metal design, and it kind of it's almost like mercury flowing through little channels all along the walls and the ceiling and the floor of this thing. And it's like, wow, if you could kind of detach those panels and get them out of there, that would be worth something. But yeah, that's not going to happen without destroying the entire thing.
In the bus's cargo bay, in pieces, obviously, but still too big and just not reasonable to take. The clock face from Old Earth's Big Ben is just in there.
Whoa.
Hmm.
Um, on the dash, there is it's small and innocuous, really. If you didn't know any better, it just sort of looks like one of those dancing hula girl statues from the 20th century. Um, but despite Leland's interest in possibly taking it, he knows that this thing is cursed.
Hmm. Um, yeah, among these ancient relics and cursed objects and transfixing decorations, there are also mummified employees sitting in the seats. Um, of covered in vintage upholstery. And Jane, you just hear the sputter of the engines as this thing is blasting towards the star. Um, we let's take a break here and come back at the tippy top of the hour. Um, Something to think about here, and maybe if you want to have a discussion before you venture off, or when you before you we turn back on, is do you want to execute the next plan immediately, or do you feel like you need any additional assets? Like, do you want to scour? And for what it's worth, again, this is kind of like a rules learning thing. So we've got three characters that are still on the station. So you all could be looking for, I think they'd probably be more informational flaws or assets at this point. You could still like scour and have those conversations for this next plan. Um, Jane, you are on the shuttle, so you can be looking for things on there that might help in the plan if you did want to do some additional searching here. Um, oh, there's one other thing that we need to do actually. We'll do that when we get back. You will also be getting the loot. Let's actually do that now. Um, Sorry, just shifted my decision here. Um, so this is a move that we do once we are in the target, which here's the shuttle, and it's essentially like the act of getting the loot. It's what we call breaking the target. Once the group reaches the target, they'll attempt to steal the loot, and each present character, ooh, so it's Jane, should roll 1d6. Then we take the highest two dice to determine the result. So you're going to need a bond die here to add into, so we can replace the missing die with a bond die essentially. Um, I should have outlined that first so that you know to put two people onto the ship, but that would also make the plan a little bit more complicated. So anyway, I think we're good here, regardless. But on a 10 plus, you get the loot and gain an asset. On a 7 to 9, you get the loot but face a complication. And on a 6 minus, you get the loot, but the difficulty of the next phase increases by 1.
Okay,
Roll
so I
away,
have to
Jane.
justify how why I can use a bond dice, right?
No, that will be somebody else pitching in on this. But you're just going to roll a d6.
All right, I'll roll 1d6.
Yep. And then we'll determine what we can do from there.
I got a 1.
Is There, no one has a six, right?
I have a 6 for Jane.
Oh, you do have a six with Jane.
Oh,
Okay. So you can add a six to this and make this a 7 to 9 result. Um, if you describe how you help or set up the help, somehow assist in the situation.
I think Carlisle has given Jane probably weirdly specific information about the containers that the Physicret is in, like down to the serial numbers. And so Jane knows exactly what she's looking for.
Yeah. I know exactly which ones to break open, which ones to pull off the magnetic thing, like, because there's so many in there, we can't take them all. I know which ones to grab.
I love it. Cool. Okay. So you are taking down the loot. There will be a complication and things, so we'll probably have some kind of roll. I'm not going to tell you who it's going to hit or why or anything like that until we get back. Um, but yeah, let's all take the 10 minutes and come back. And so we'll want to know, are you going to poke around for more assets, or are we executing the plan as soon as we resolve whatever this complication is?
All right.
All right. See y'all soon. And we're back from our break. Um, you all, how are you? How are you thinking from like just kind of a meta conversation here? Do we want to just like push forward with executing the plan, or do you feel like there's some holes that still need to be filled here?
I would like to wrap up that task.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that that's where I'm planning on having, for what it's worth, the complication come into play. So,
Oh, okay.
so that is probably worth an extra asset then as well. Um, and yeah, in this case, like normally I think you've got the thing. I think that this is an easy task because it was effectively in your possession at the beginning of it. And yeah, we've resolved it through doing like a few smaller rolls. So we'll take that. I think that that's a good place to focus the scene. Beyond that, is there anything else that anyone wants to like poke at here? Or are we
And
moving?
just happily hurtling towards the sun.
Cool. Yeah, I guess that is a problem at this point.
I think, well,
Um,
since I am talking to this deck worker, dock worker, maybe trying to get like at least one information move out of him just so that we might
okay.
have, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is entirely fine. So that everyone knows, the other thing that happens is this um it's not the watch hasn't been triggered. You're pretty safe on the watch, but risk is up at this point. So as we go into is that marked in the heists? Yes, it is. So if you look at the heist sheet, it's always labeled there. We've been operating on low risk. Now in the getaway, you can see it's colored red as an objective as well. So we move to high risk. So watch will advance on um, a watch advances 2 points now on either a one or a two. So low risk, it only advances one on every one that's rolled. On in normal risk, advances two on a one, and this is like one of those things. It looks it's easier to read than to say because I'm just saying the same thing. Yeah, and in high risk, we advance two ticks for every one or two rolled. Not a huge danger at this point because the watch is still you're ahead of it. But yeah, the characters will be a little bit more aggressive. Things will be dangerous as opposed to being fanciful and curious in a low risk situation. So that's something that shifts as we move deeper into the heist. The risk moves up as well. Um, yeah, but let's. So we've got two scenes that we want to pursue here. So let's start with hijack. heading back to the funeral here. I think Sarah's here too, right? Like you are kind of like
Yeah.
hobnobbing, like pulling some attention away from what's going on with the shuttle as Jane is like hopping on and maybe and Maximilian's body is getting tossed out the back, just providing some distraction there. But Carlisle, you approach with the Ursula with the time break, presumably.
He'll smile as he approaches. He'll wait until if she's still with Vera, Bella, uh, not to interrupt. He doesn't want to be rude, but
Hmm.
when she's free and catches his eye, he'll just kind of hold the time break between two fingers and waggle it a little.
I really thought that that fellow with the green jacket was going to come out on top of this one.
I'm faster than I look.
Apparently. And so this is mine, and all you need is just some information about my dear old uncle.
Yeah, I'm curious about such a man to get so many dedicated mourners.
You know, Uncle Max, he did it right. That means doing wrong to a lot of people. He was a role model for anyone who wants to see the future, really. And he didn't necessarily believe in this whole seeding the sun thing.
Not interested in the planetary legacy he could leave behind.
Oh, no, no, no. And here's the spicy bit. Come closer.
He'll lean in.
He's arranged for pirates to raid the shuttle before it reaches the star.
A little last minute drama. To what end?
Everything on that shuttle is getting shuttled back to me.
You are as clever as he is. Was.
Aren't I, though? And she kind of saunters off. You collect an extra piece of information here, potentially an asset, but also something of a complication. And that's that Maximilian, exactly what what she just revealed. There's going to be pirates that are going to be approaching the shuttle. So mark that as a flaw in the situation here. Um, that said, you have completed a task condition. Hooray! It's actually the first task condition that has ever been completed in the history of Planet Raygun. Um, so congratulations on that. Um, uh, and so you gain 1 XP, so you can check a box anywhere in your little matrix of XP boxes. You received a flaw here in the form of knowing that Maximilian has arranged pirates to hijack the shuttle. We reduced the watch tick by 1. Oh, wait. This would normally be a roll. You're gaining all rewards because of just the scenario. So, for what it's worth, when you execute a task, so you would essentially run a mini plan against it. There's a 10 plus, which is the plan works flawlessly. You clear the condition and gain all the rewards. On a mixed result, you would otherwise clear the condition and choose any of these rewards. And then on a 6 minus, the plan falls apart and the condition is altered, and the keeper decides a further complication. But in this case, you're getting all of them, except the gain evidence of the Galactic Overlord. So we'll just pretend that it's a 10 plus. So we reduced watch by 1 tick. You received the flaw and gained 1 XP. Hooray!
Hooray.
Celebration amongst all of the people. Game history people. All right. Whoa. Cool. Let's then cut over to Leland talking to this dock worker. How are you digging in with this, Leland?
Just imagine we're sitting across from each other and
Hmm.
enjoying a couple of cigarettes. And since he's an old timer, I imagine I've got him on a bit of a tear right now. Probably ranting about something problematic.
You know,
Um,
Zap Porto, he's a drunk, but he plays the meteor golf right.
yeah, yeah. Well, his that thing he does with the club. It's fantastic.
Oh, the thing with
Yeah,
the
well,
Oh,
with the wrist. It's all in the wrist.
hell yeah, it's really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a shame he's from
Just
Genius.
just hooking those shots right around those grav belts. Whew. Never seen anybody hit like that, sober or not.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of grav belts, yeah, I mean, that ship you was sent out, the funeral one, that's got to be knocking in some stuff, right? I mean, all the way in the vastness of space. How, what if, say, for instance, one of them rich corpse types came back to life and wanted to come back, like get out of the ship? How do they do that?
Like a space zombie,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Astro zombie, if you will.
astro zombie. That's what they're calling them these days.
Yeah,
Ever
yeah.
since that Danny Boyle did that 28 eons later, we
Yeah,
got
well,
we got
his head
astro
anyway.
zombies instead of just regular space zombies all of a sudden.
Yeah. For some reason they're all still naked though.
I love that part.
I'm not complaining either.
Um, so it feels like collection with presents here.
Yeah.
Cool. Give it to me.
That's gonna be a 9.
Cool. So we get the asset here. Yeah, in playing it out. So the hypothetical here that you're posing
Hypothetical.
is Astro zombies are real, A, and one of these rich people gets. I- Are they getting bit or are they getting infected before they've gone onto the shuttle or when they've got it? How does
Well,
the
it's like that really, 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 really old movie, uh, Shaun of the Dead. They got bit, but then they was walking around thinking they was all right, and then they just came back. So I'm thinking, maybe this rich tycoon type got bit or something. They died, quote unquote. But then when they got loaded up in the coffin, they look dead, they feel dead, they're cold,
Mhm.
they're naked. Um, because all zombies are naked. Um,
Always,
always. I think
always.
I think they're allergic to clothing.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
um, but then yeah, they wake up and they're like, "Ah,"
Yeah, yeah. Rah.
"Ah,"
Like a gill bear, like as if somebody stashed their pet gill bear on one of these shuttles. Rah.
Exactly.
So
But
nasty, so
yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You know, that's a funny story because um, even though there's these things aren't supposed to have life support systems in them, Maximilian wanted one installed because he actually wanted his very alive pet gill bear to be shot into the sun.
Is there a pet Gilbert on the ship now then?
We cut to Jane Doe 2.0 on the shuttle. And a metal crate, you hear a scratch, scratch. And from within, you can hear a rah.
Oh, great.
Um, so the asset that you've gained here is Maximilian arranged special passage for a very living pet Gilbear.
Well, that solves the life support problem. But now there's is it in a crate, like it's locked in its crate?
Yeah, it's in a crate that's like a contained one. You haven't noticed it up until this point, but it's as the
Okay.
heat is picking up, it seems to be a little bit irritated about the situation.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fair. I would be
yeah.
too if I was a human or a bear. Uh, well, I'm just gonna let how big is a gill bear? Is this
Um,
something that we can move off the
it's
ship
not
when
it's
we
not fish size unless it's a very large, a bear-sized
a
fish.
bear-sized fish? So
Yeah,
size of a
it's a
bear-sized fish.
yeah, it's
Shark is a
yeah.
fish.
Yeah, yeah,
Fish
yeah.
aren't real.
Fish aren't real in
That's
space,
birds.
Uh,
at least.
oh, birds aren't real
Um,
either. Yeah.
um, all that
Okay.
said, do we want to execute the plan to get Jane and the loot off of this shuttle before it hits the sun?
I
Do
would
we
like
have
that.
enough assets? Feels like we do.
We
Complexity
do.
on this objective is 4,
Hmm.
and yeah, we just need to add our Gilbear friend, which is not wrapping that particular cell, but wrap. Oh, merge. Sorry, now I'm doing spreadsheet management here. Okay. Um, yeah, we've
Well,
got a lot. It's a question of, yeah, if you want to continue poking around or not.
so if I've got the plan correct in my head, you are going to take off in the other shuttle and meet me somewhere between before the sun, preferably before the sun. And we are going to
Ideally, yeah.
move the loot from shuttle A to shuttle B.
Does it even need to be the other shuttle? It could be our ship, right? Could it?
It could be. You got the
Hmm.
location tracker. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a question of if you would, maybe it's a question of if you would want your ship connected with
Well, that's true.
pirating. Yeah.
Oh, and we have to deal with these pirates somehow.
If we can do this before the pirates arrive.
Or is there a way to make the pirates work in your plan?
You could also
Yeah,
just
what we
sick the gill bear on them.
I was going to say exactly that. Yeah. Two problems with one stone.
So we're not rescuing the gill bear?
We can rescue the gill bear, but afterwards, after it's eaten. It's best not to try and take a hungry gill bear
That is
on with
true.
us.
That is
We've
true.
also got that computer virus to if we want to use that to screw with the pirates.
I mean, we're framing the pirates, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
That'll also keep suspicion off us from Ursula,
Yeah.
because the pirates, you can't trust pirates.
Yeah. Okay. So we're framing the pirates are being used so that we can frame them. Location tracker is being used so you know where I am. We're using the salvageable Star Commuter Journey shuttle to take heat off of our shuttle. Right?
It
There's
is
confused faces.
broken down.
Oh,
How might you repair its structure so that it can fly?
I
Or
have a
there's something
structural
from
repair
it we can
kit.
use.
Oh, is
I
that so?
I literally have a structural repair kit
All right.
that I could have easily handed over.
Okay, so we're even with those 4. The plot is making some sense here.
We don't need the impermeable metal coffin to transfer items between the shuttles anymore because that was a problem when there was no life support.
Hmm.
Mm. Well, also
Well,
because of the
the
heat
sun.
from the
Yeah.
star. Yeah.
Yeah, if I have the metal coffin with me, I can just load up all the loot and myself into the metal coffin and shoot myself into space where you can pick me up.
Yeah, we can pick you up in the shuttle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you have my location. And then we'll leave the pirates to the Gilbear.
Pirate ship has got to end up in the sun somehow, right? So that there's no
Well,
trace
it doesn't
of the
really matter because the
loot.
pirates, if the pirates get to the ship and loot the
Mm,
ship, they're only looting the stuff that we left behind.
true.
They get everything but the fizzy cred.
Yeah.
Ursula would know that the
Mm.
fizzy cred is not.
Yeah, that sucks. Those duck officers are really bad for incomplete loading.
Or she'll
Yeah.
blame the pirates for like she'll blame the
Pirates
pirates
stole it.
for yeah.
Shouldn't have
Oh,
trusted
they say
them.
we didn't find it. It wasn't on the shuttle.
Or
Yes, we
maybe the
like your
pirates
story.
shouldn't make it off the shuttle.
That's what I was thinking initially. Yeah.
Because then it's a clean getaway for us.
I
Cleaner.
agree. Yeah. Yeah.
So are you saying I should kill the pirates?
Or just let them die.
Yeah, let them die.
Or
But how?
we have a computer virus. What if we use that to lock the shuttle doors when they're in there?
I
Oh,
like that.
all right.
Or debilitate their ship because can't
Yeah, maybe we
debilitate
we
doors
infect their
locked.
ship because like this ship was already like programmed to just keep going. It's
Yeah.
not, yeah. So maybe we just program their sh like we upload the virus to their ship uh so that they can't escape.
Right.
Okay. 1, 2, 3,
You
4.
are +2 right now by my count. So
And so I
location
think our plan is
tracker,
good.
location tracker to track where the shuttle is on its journey to the sun. Jane is going to load up the coffin with the fizzy credit and herself. You are fixing up the Star Commuter journey to be able to fly there. Maybe that's less suspicious because it's a
Yeah.
bus, it's a space bus, so a space
Mm.
bus coming out of a space station is going to be more inconspicuous than, yeah, like a giant pleasure vessel that's chasing after a funerary ship. Um, and then you've got the pirates that are arriving, and so the pirates are going to kind of like be the cover for you all. So like the pirates are going to take the blame if there is any blame to be associated. But
Yeah.
then we're also going to make sure there's no witnesses effectively of missing loot by trapping the pirates inside of the shuttle. So Ursula's
With the
plan,
Gilbear.
Maximilian and Ursula's plan to steal everything off the shuttle is going to be sabotaged here.
Yes.
And Ursula will blame the pirates' incompetence as opposed to something else that's going on, presumably.
Or if
Cool.
not their incompetence, the unexpected Gilbear.
That too. Do you want to add one more?
Mm.
Yeah.
Let the Gilbear loose?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna let the Gilbear loose before I lock myself in the thing and jettison myself out.
And the virus will then trap them inside with the
Yeah.
Gilbear. So
I also
regardless of,
apologize to the Gilbear. I know it can't
oh,
understand me, but I say sorry, man.
sure, he
Sucks.
understands.
Didn't know you were there.
He's getting a nice meal.
Yeah, he's gonna have
That's
a
true. A
nice last meal.
final, yeah.
Yeah. Pirate meat
Cool.
is very delicious.
So +3 on this then.
Who's feeling lucky?
I'm not.
All right, each of you roll 1.
Ooh.
Oh wait, that's not how +3 works.
That's not how +3 works,
Well,
but
if Jack's not feeling lucky, if Ben and I roll one each, and
Yeah,
then
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
three.
Ben and you.
That's what I thought you meant anyway.
I'm rolling now. I got a 6.
I got a
nice.
3.
9,
Nice.
So that's a
12.
12 total.
12 on. Ooh. Um, So let's do it with style. Everyone narrate your like signature moment in this piece of the heist.
I'm loading up I load up all the Physicrids into the coffin and I push it towards the edge of the shuttle bay, the shuttle doors. I go and I put my hand on the crate where the gill bear is. Sorry, man. Didn't know you were going to be here, but have a good lunch. And I click open the lock, dive myself into the the coffin and use the momentum of my dive as I'm pulling the coffin lid over to push the coffin outside because I imagine this is like Star Trek where it's like a um it's
Force field
open
then.
but there's like a force field to push it through the force field and I just go gently drifting off into space and all you hear is the roar of the gill bear as it bursts out of its crate. And you can hear it because
Um,
it's in space, even though it's in space because of the force field.
oh yes, of course.
Mhm.
Um, for my part, I think I'm uh uh sort of helping to do just basically a quick tune up on the journey shuttle. Not enough to get us across the galaxy, but at least enough to get us to, the next moon or something. Um, and so you just kind of see he's already abandoned the old codger. And he's like sort of just like sweat covered, some oil on his brow now, just rifling through the engine. Um, yeah, I think we got it. Let's get the hell out of here.
I don't know what Carla would be doing here to contribute. Probably he would have, as soon as he heard about the pirates, he'd have excused himself to pass that on to Leland, to pass that on to
Mm.
Jane with the communicator. But uh, he's probably still sulking about being ordered around by Kasira.
He could be the one that does the virus to the pirates
Or
to
Yeah,
trap them in there with the bear.
a pitch would be you go to the whaling booth if you're distraught about getting bossed around by Sierra, then you go in and more than that within the booth.
yeah. I think the camera pans past a series of people crying, sobbing, and all that, and Hijack's just got his back turned and he's just raging in there.
For fun, roll a d6. Let's see where you end up on the chart.
A five.
A five. So you take Sierra's spot. I think Sierra moves down to six.
That'll help. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think if you're done, Ben, I think
Yeah.
Sarah is the one piloting the other shuttle when we make the rendezvous, and I just think there's a moment where we see one of the pirates inside, kind of the terrified face trying to escape through the force field, and then is grabbed by the gill bear, and Sarah's just in the cockpit of the other shuttle and just gives in a kind of an apologetic shrug, and as she pushes the throttle away and the shuttle zooms off.
Um, on top of this, um, something um, that you catch as you are um, um, loading in, finishing this heist. I think I imagine those of you that are on the restored shuttle, um, would see this through the through your sort of like yeah, the front, what am I trying to think of? Like the cockpit view. Uh as you're driving or as you're flying away from the scene, feeling successful about this heist, um this weird like portal sphere, this kind of like twirling blue spiral. Not even a spiral. It's very geometric. This kind of like weird, almost arabesque grid forms, and you see these two freeze-dried arms, or what look like freeze-dried arms, come out of it. They are not attached to any body, and they just clap. Hijack, you're in the morning booth, and you look out at the scene of everyone mourning Maximilian, um, as you see the shuttle turn into just a dot in the distance. And you say the same thing just outside of the whaling booth. This weird portal form and these weird freeze-dried, dead, mummified almost arms come out of the portal and just clap. Um, and that is your first piece of evidence of the Galactic Overlord. So we will add that to the campaign list. Evidence. Freeze dried portal arms. Flapping. Um, and that's where we end the heist. You've successfully nabbed the physic credit. You have gained some attention from the Galactic Overlord, whoever that is. And yeah, a successful job all around. Great job, everyone. I would clap if I had severed arms floating through portals in space. Um, we go now to end of heist. Bum. Running heists, end of heist. Okay. Um, do we don't do that yet. Okay, so experience gains. The we'll go around here for the individual characters. The questions that you will be posed are the following things. Um, There we go. When you do bullets, you can't just hit enter. You have to hit enter many times. You have to clear the bullets with it in Zoom. Anyway, each of the individual characters, you will get 3 questions. Did you bridge the void, which is using the bridge the void move? No one has done that. Did your past give you an edge? So if you feel like you brought about your past in any of the moves, you get an XP point off of that. The final question here is, did a failure remind you of the Lambeth deal? So, A, did we have any failures? I don't think we did. I think everything we bumped up.
Just going to ask, would that count failures that we bumped up or not?
No, it does not. It's only failures that you keep.
Failures that you
So
let
this
ride.
is
Yeah.
another thing that like I wouldn't expect you to have this happen in the first heist, but like it's something now to be aware of. um, that you can keep a failure. There's an opportunity to get XP out of that if you do keep a failure. And what you do then is you acknowledge that it reminded you of the Lambeth deal in some way, that big failed operation, and you describe your role or your like why it reminds you of that. And those are the 3 ways that you get XP points from individual characters. So we'll probably be centering on, did your past give you an edge? Pretty loose on this for what it's worth. And then we will have a couple questions for the full crew, but let's go through the individual characters first. Jane, did your past give you an edge?
I don't think so. I think the edge came from just being a robot. I don't think it was
Okay.
necessarily my past that helped anything.
All right. Fair enough. Hi, Jack.
I was thinking that he knew those serial numbers because he's done this before in a
Love it.
different dimension.
Yep. Take an XP. Leland. Oh, sorry, I did that out of order, but
Um, arguably it did. Though we haven't really gotten into his past. The the whole interaction with the old codger, the deck worker, and using his own gruffness to sort of relate to him. But I don't know
okay.
if that's
Yeah,
too flimsy.
that is perfectly fine. Part of the thing with the Planet Raygun prompts is like this is an opportunity to add a little bit of juice to something that may have not. It's kind of like retconning a little bit of like backstory into things. So you don't have to be like really active about like thinking about it up front. So yeah, like I'm totally willing to accept that. Sierra?
I mean, I think I got some advantage by just the fact of being a royal, but whether it was actually due to anything in my past, I don't think I can justify that exactly. If if Jane Doe can't get it for just being a robot, I don't think I can get it for just being a royal. So
Fair enough. Um, All right. On to the next two questions here. For the full crew, so everyone gets an XP point on this. Did you escape with the loot? Yes, you did. Um, and here's the fun part. I mean, they're all fun, right? But like, here's the juicy part, or the juiciest one. Are you pursued by a new nemesis? Who? So, as a group, you can all get an extra XP point if you declare one of these characters is now a nemesis for your crew. Um, that is up to you. The more nemesis that you have, the more likely that they will catch up to you between this heist or after a heist. It won't be between this heist and the next heist because it happens, it's the first step in the post the end of heist sequence. But after the next heist, it becomes more likely that it becomes likely that you will get into a space battle with your nemesis.
Well, I think we all love Ursula.
We too, but I almost kind of want um
Oh, what's his name that you?
Gizamel
Yeah.
to be like a big bad. Like yeah, Ursula's kind of glamorous, and I would be into her as like a side character who's got maybe like dubious, alliance allegiances or whatever. But I kind of am into like Gizamel having a bone to pick with us, and
and he has a reason, right? Yeah.
yeah,
He also has a secret workshop, so who knows what else he's up to.
And may have been about to jettison you into space before realizing that it was not the appropriate time or group of people. Yeah, I like it. If we're good on that, add Gizmel de Bloom to your list of nemesis on the campaign chart. Ba, 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 ba.
I'm helping this.
Character advancement is the next step here. It's almost like a little XP shop if anybody wants to use it. You don't need to do this within this session, but just to kind of outline it, you can spend some time in any of the following parts of your ship. The cargo bay, 2 experience points allows you to add one exploit to your personal kit list. I don't know if do we have exploits expressly in this one?
I don't think
Oh, the
so.
shuttle, the broken down
Oh,
shuttle.
is
So
that an
you could,
exploit?
And
yes.
the coffin, right?
Oh, in
Wasn't
the
that one?
coffin. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
those two things. So essentially, like in that like pre-kit, the pre-heist selection of what you're bringing to the heist, you could have that available to you as a character whenever you go in. So you could bring, if you wanted to have an impermeable coffin that you could bring to any heist, you could do that for
Oh,
two
it's
experience
reusable.
points. Yeah. So it enters essentially like you bring it along with you to the ship, and now it is something that's reusable on any heists in the future. So you've got that option. You could just spend time in your quarters. That's 3 experience points, and that will add one new bona fide. The med bay allows you to remove a condition for 3 XP, and then training is 5 points, and that is adding +1 to a stat up to +3. So you've got those options. Um, you can do that shopping in between now and next week. That is entirely fine. We can make sure to check up on that. And then actually, I'll add this to our Discord chat so that you've got the page with all of that. The other thing to choose here is whether you turn in the loot for payment here or abscond with it yourselves. If you run with what you've stolen, you can add it to your standard kit list. So you would all have giant briefcases of cases of Fizzy credit available for any heist, which is seems kind of cool. The cost here is that the heist sponsor becomes a nemesis. So you would add a second nemesis. But if you stay honest, you also can upgrade your ship with a number of different things. So there's a long list of extra stuff that you get to add to your ship. Uh, um, that's in the chat. But again, I will add it to the Discord chat and we can just check in on what you all want to decide to take from there. Um, that said, this concludes our session. Um, let's do stars and wishes.
I will get
Yeah.
us. Go ahead.
I, hmm? Oh, you want to
No, no.
go? Okay. Um, yeah, good times, fun resolution, smaller stars. I like the dynamics that are happening that are unfolding before us. Um, the moment when like I feel like Carlisle is like um the straight man of the group, which is odd considering. But yeah, no, I feel like I love that moment of him like reminding Leland that before you point a gun at someone, you should make sure you have the thing that you want from them. So him reminding him that he's not actually fixed the thing yet. I thought that was fun. Yeah, I feel like he's like yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and I'm liking the hints of dynamic that are popping up between Leland and Jane. I mean, now we already know that he has a pet name for Jane, so there's some admiration there, some fondness, and the sort of dynamic between Sierra and he. I feel like it's not friction, but there's definitely like a playfulness that I'm excited to dig into because I feel like. I don't know if it's like a mentor-mentee thing or like I could definitely see them going out and you know getting drunk at some cantina together, but I'm just curious to see what the relationship is like there. Since it seems like he's sort of come from like a rougher background than she has, but she's still sort of interested in that kind of like the seediness, the space seedy underbelly, or the seedy underbelly of space, as it were. Um, and then yeah, I really loved our resolution too. I always because I've played this mystery or this heist before, and I forgot that there was a Gilbear. So it's always a nice surprise. And I thought that your framing of the hard cut to Jane dealing with the Gilbear was fun. Um, yeah, wishes. I think the only wish for future stuff is I know we rolled a few mixed successes, and so I'd like to see some more conditions get applied because I still don't I haven't really seen any conditions come into play with this game yet. So I want to see how they interact with this particular system because it's not like it's not like your usual sort of Brindlewood Bay thing where you can just sort of once a session have your vulnerable scene and like clear things. Like it feels a little bit more tricky to get out of it. So I'd like to just see them implemented more so that we can play with them and see how they affect things. Um, Other wish. I am curious about this space upgrade and this sort of XP as currency thing. Um, because it's the idea that you just sort of build up this bank of this bank of XP and you can spend it however you like. Like, is there an incentive to stockpile other than just like being able to afford like more expensive things like training or
Um, there is some incentive because that's like knowing like all of these things are different resources, right? So knowing
hmm
if I like you might not spend it right away because you haven't expended those resources, and so you might be
hmm
able to refill those particular ones. I think once the resources get a little bit more pressed is when it will become, yeah, like a more difficult decision, right? Like this is
hmm
we're just through the tutorial heist, so certainly, yeah, like it's pretty open.
Yeah,
That
I'm
said,
really
like I don't. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm just really curious to see how the math shakes out with that.
Yeah,
Because again, it's very different than the usual sort of CFB 6XP. Um, yeah, so I'm interested to see how that math shakes out. And then I'm very curious to see how these sort of upgrades to the ship play out in game. Um, because they're all like really cool prompts, but there's no like defined mechanics to them individually. And so that could be really interesting to see how they play out. I'm just curious how they do like interact with the overall.
it's a good question. Connecting it, these are the things that you will use in the space battle against Nemesis.
Okay.
So if one of those trigger, these are your assets in order to fight your way out of the situation or whatever you are going to do. Like these are the things that you have available to you when you get ambushed or whatever the case is by a nemesis.
Got it. Yeah, I'm into it. And so wait, just looking at the campaign sheet right now, do we add Gizamel de Bloom as a nemesis then?
Yes. Yep,
Okay.
for sure.
Um, then yeah, I mean, I think that's it. But yeah, good times.
Yeah. I don't know. Big thanks for having me along and integrating me in with things. I felt like I was for the first 20 minutes or so, I was playing catch up, but it got in there. It got in there pretty quickly, and yeah, I had fun. I enjoyed getting to play that kind of character with a bit of power and who can kind of finesse their way a little bit through situations, but also, yeah, is obviously a rogue of some kind. So that's a fun combination. And yeah, that's had it was cool that I enjoyed the establishment of a kind of connection with Leland and also the hint of kind of a bit of I don't know tension or something with Carlisle. That'll be interesting to explore in future because maybe he's the impression I get, and I may be reading him wrong at this stage, is that he's maybe more of a serious minded person than Sarah is. So yeah, that'll be an interesting dynamic to explore. And yeah, wishes is like I want to get some kind of scene with Sarah and Jane Doe. We need to do that. I really enjoyed, yeah, the just the image of Jane Doe being alone on that shuttle, like unpacking all the loot, and yeah, I don't know, it was fun. Yeah, I big star for like the idea of this because it's such a different spin from like mystery solving, but it seemed to slot together really well, and I'm excited to go in on the ground floor of a heist next time.
I already put in chat that I put a star for Mike for the 28 eons later joke. That was good. I had a good laugh at the zombies all being naked. I like the idea that space zombies are always naked. Or sorry,
Astro
astro
zombies.
zombies. Sorry. I get the terminology mixed up so much. Yeah, that was a delight. I liked the character interactions a lot. It's really nice to see. I always like how in the second session there's a lot more character interaction and you can get an idea of how people are sort of forming their characters and things like that. So I'm excited to see that. I liked the interactions with the NPCs as well, with the old grizzled about to retire soon guy, and with Gizmel and with Ursula. It was, yeah, just a lot of fun to see these characters starting to come to life and develop, personalities of their own. I still That's my wish. So I still haven't really figured out Jane yet. So I'm wishing for myself to give some thought on that to see where I want her to. Sorry, my hair dye is like so itchy right now. Um, to see where her drive is, what her whole deal is. So I have to figure that one out. But other than that, I don't really have anything to wish for other than I can't wait to see what happens next when we all hit the ground running.
Uh, I'll echo a lot of that. I loved the character interactions, not just with between our characters, but with the NPCs as well. The chat about the Astro Zombies and Meteor Golf was, yeah, that was great. We need to work Meteor Golf in again somehow, because Carlisle is definitely into Meteor Golf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good to meet Kasira. Looking forward to seeing more of that and exploring that tension there. The team feels like we're just starting to come together as a group, and so it'll be fun to see that when we are actually, hopefully, either in different combinations or all four of us together for a bit. I like all the little mechanics that work together really well to kind of expand on CFB as we have previously seen it and kind of elevate it to there's a lot more mechanically going on with the choices that you can make here, and that's a lot of fun. It hits some Forged in the Dark beats with like the
Mm.
watch, and that's neat. So a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing how it proceeds. Also, yeah,
Yeah.
we need the biggest mechanical arm we've ever seen.
For anyone watching, that is one of the ship upgrades.
And it's not just the
Um,
Canadians that want it because of the Canada arm.
I mean, that is
I'm
kind of on
sure
brand, but yeah.
it is on brand for us, yeah.
my stars, like particular stars, the paint the scene for the shuttle loot was really cool. Ben, you incidentally foreshadowed something in a future heist. I think we find out where the Big Ben clock face comes from. Um, or at least who had it last before Maximillian Quasari in a future heist. So it'll be fun. I always like how that kind of stuff just emerges, all that emergent narrative stuff, and just kind of like how we're coming up with random ideas and seeing all the weird connections between them. And certainly, as other folks have said, like that's yeah, all of those connections with the characters start developing off of that kind of thing as well. So this second session was a lot of fun in starting to see that develop. I really enjoyed the whole sequence, the sort of like backrooms, back halls sequence with Gizamel, both in like pulling Jane in via the communications. And then one of the things that I like, I don't know, like I don't necessarily think it should be mechanized in any kind of way, but I like the sort of like having the narratives. I mean, this is essentially what these games are supposed to do, but having the narrative seek guidance from the mechanics. So as we're like playing that scene out of like you're being pulled deeper and deeper into here, it's like at that point that the collection role starts to feel like it has that gravity. Like we know what's going on here. Like we know that there's an asset at the end of this that's been defined, but then I like building out that context and how a scene like that can build out that context and really make the role um really meaningful, of kind of figuring out like you're all feeling suspicious about this. Is there reason to be suspicious, and or is there not, like that kind of thing of yeah, the sequencing of it not being so procedural, I guess, is something that I really enjoy. And I like getting into that groove. So it was really fun to get into that groove with you all. Um, Oh, and then another note, some like obviously the historical moments of very first time we've had a task condition within Planet Raygun and a task condition resolved. So I'm curious to use those. That's an idea that came out of like this is a game that really like players tend to want to like negotiate deals with characters, and oftentimes those deals are promises of I will do something. So that's where this idea of the task condition came from, is like if you have a promise, if you've made a promise to a character, you've made a deal with a character, how do we make sure that like that stays present in the narrative? So I want to play with those more, so feel free to kind of lean into that idea. And yeah, the other one will just from like a sort of history of playtesting Planet Raygun. No one's ever replaced the body, so that was a new twist, and I really liked that scene and being able to pull that together. Which is aside from the um, getting to see some of the mechanics play out, like the task conditions, a little bit more thoroughly. Um, Yeah, I'm honestly just really excited for these characters to get into like a full heist. I think a lot of what you all are saying of like I want to see conditions and their effects and like want to see these bigger things and how they start playing out like becomes more apparent when you are trying to this one you were only trying to fulfill two objectives in the heist. Future heists, it's going to be four. So there's a lot more like management of assets and thinking about pace, all of that kind of thing as you're moving through. So really looking forward to that. That's what I got. Anything else from anyone? Cool. So let's wave bye to everyone that's watching. Oh, but wait. One more thing. Um, the camera cuts away from four people talking about where is this? Oh no, I closed the tab. No, there it is. Four people talking, five people talking about playing a game. Um, and instead, we see a bright desert planet, cream colored sand undulating in dunes like gentle ocean waves. And in the center of our vision, there's a settlement, buildings molded from the same stone that forms the desert sea, but draped in colorful tapestries, advertising shops and cafes, and probably cultural institutions too. There's two walrus snouted citizens haggling over a canister of fermented fruit. There's a machina making repairs to a broken down skiff. There's this theater troupe that's performing a costumed opera in a bustling plaza. What we don't see are banners of the Ghost Emperor. Things displayed in every city, space station, and transit hub you've ever passed through. These citizens of the Starways have never flown the banner, somehow developing outside the gaze of this galaxy's overlord. Until, of course, today. As our vision glides through the bustling streets, there's a change. A pale blue geometry begins to stencil itself over every surface, an arabesque intricacy coating the entire settlement. The same pattern that would be displayed on the banners if this settlement had pledged fealty to the Ghost Emperor. Everyone stops and stares aghast. Along the pattern's lines, the settlement slowly disarticulates from itself, just by an inch, and then abruptly it all slams back together. Open, shut, open, shut, open, shut. The pattern reforms and glows throbbingly at each impact. The process repeats a dozen times, and on the final thump, the entire settlement becomes dust, citizens and all. Except for one thing, lying at the center. Something we can't quite make out. Minutes later, we see a figure in a frayed cowl floating above the pale blue dust that remains where the settlement once was. It seems to bend down to the ground, extending a frosted, atrophying arm and picking up that one remaining object. The figure peers at it, and our sight pulls close. It's a photograph of someone we don't yet recognize, and Leland. Leland, you're going to add a new bona fide? called Companion.
Oh,
I will add it into the character sheet, and we will find out more in the future. And then we see Planet Raygun, really big, and it blacks out, and then the credits start rolling. All right, we'll see you all next week.
Thanks very much.
Bye.